So this is Java. He's IPO3 a couple times, and we're going to trial again for, we're not sure yet, either F8 or IPO3 again. And Roger is handling him for one of the first times so that I can videotape. Sit! So Roger, put his line under his front leg. Okay? Tell him sit, sit! Sit! Good, walk up beside him. Now walk to him to this flag. Just say okay. And now tell him to sue. Good. So Java is, he's done really well in tracking. His high score, IPO3 was 92. So we're trying for 100 one day. And I'm in a field with a lot of cross tracks. If you look, there's a ton of cross tracks. And the reason I'm here is when we attempted FH last time, he took a cross track, the second cross track, so we failed. So with Java, what I want to see is the dog in drive. So I want to see that tail up, and I want to see the tail wagging. That means he's not stressed, it means he's happy, it means he likes doing what he's doing, and it means he's not going to quit. So in IPO, as long as the dog keeps working, the judge will not stop the dog. So you cannot fail if your dog never stops working. So the whole trick, I think, in tracking is to teach the dog, number one, to problem solve in case, so that it can figure out how to get itself out of trouble if it lands in trouble, and also to never give up. And as with the puppy, we want to see the beginning, the journey, and the ending, all to have equal value for the dog. So I don't want a dog who races, because then they stand to risk going over a corner. As you see, Java has really excellent tracking technique. He goes from step to step to step, and there's very little food on this track, but he's hunting for it. And what he's really hunting for are the articles. And we should be coming up to one pretty soon. So here's a cross track, so I put a little piece of food over it. Now he's racing, he can probably smell an article. And so Roger needs to put his hands tight to his body so that there's no give in the line. Rather than, see, he's holding his hands out, he needs to hold those hands by his body, right close against his chest. So these are really, really nice tracking conditions. And you can see Java's pulling. He's anxious. He's gone a long way with no reward. And he's looking for an article which is coming up. There's the article. Excellent. So with Java, I clicker train. I want him to put that article right between his paws and stare at it. And when he does, I'm going to pay him. He knows what I want, so I'm not going to say anything. Good. So the click just marks the behavior. It's kind of hard with the camera, the food, and the clicker. There you go. So I'm trying to hit the food right on the article, because what I want is him to stare at that article. So he's not quite there. The article's right between his paws. Pretty good. He knows not to look up, because the trick is to give him food before he can look at me, so that what he concentrates is on the article. Because in tracking, what the dogs are hunting for are these articles. So the articles must have extremely high value to the dog for the dog to want them. Good boy. What a good boy. What a good boy. Okay. So Roger should be a tiny bit closer. Sue. Good boy. So it's really important for a dog to understand what Sue means, because if your dog doesn't know what your tracking word is, if he runs into difficulty, how can you give a restart if you've never taught him what the tracking word is? So it's really important to teach your dog what the word is that you want to use when you want your dog to track. I think it's spelled S-U-C-H when I say Sue. And it's just easier. And so you can see he's hunting. Java loves tracking because he loves food. And he just likes it. So you can see there's very little difference from where there's food to where there's no food. So now after that article, I have food for a little bit. Just because he did a really good stretch there with nothing. Okay, we have a corner coming up. It's right here. It's a little bit forward. So I don't want him to cross my corner. So let's see what he does at the corner. Beautiful, good boy. Normally if I was handling him, I would walk up and I would just pat him nicely on the, there's a daffodil there. I would pat him nicely on his back end. What a good boy you are, yes. Good boy, Java. What an excellent boy you are. Good. See, so the articles have very high value. So I put the article 10 paces after the corner because so I could reward. So after I do a corner, I never put food before the corner or on the corner. I put it always after. I start out with the younger dogs 1 step after, and then I go to 3 steps. With Java, because he's IPO 3, I do 10 steps. Good boy. Okay, so he left before I told him, but that's okay. It's Roger's handling the line quite a bit different how I handle the line. I think this is the first time Roger's ever tracked with Java. So, but it's a good feeling because Java's a good tracker. So he's working quite hard. We have another corner coming up. Normally I have it marked with flags, but I forgot them. So there's a lot of crosstalks here. This is my corner. Good. Good boy. What a good boy. What a good boy you are. What a good boy. And so if you notice, his tail's still up. It's a little bit lower because he's getting a little bit tired. He's worked really hard. Should have another article coming shortly. There it is. Good boy. And so he's a little confused because I'm in front of him and normally I'm behind him. But it doesn't matter. I want him to stare at that article. It's between his paws. I want him to stare at it. Good. So I'm not telling him to do... Yes. Click. I don't have my... Nope. I just can't hold the clicker and the camera. Good boy. So sometimes to get the dog straight, I would be right over top of him like I am right now, so he straddles. And he's got to look down at the article. And then this makes it a little bit easier because you can just drop food right on the article. So he really likes articles because he gets food. So you can see the kind of food I'm using. I'm using hamburger patties that is baked in the oven or in the frying pan. And I really like them because they can be cut into little pieces and they don't crumble. So he's just staring at that article. What a good boy. And he's not really touching it. But Java will never walk over top of an article. He really loves articles. Good boy. Sue?
Sue.
So that's my mistake because he wasn't quite ready. Sue? So I should have always, because I gave him a little bit of food there, so I should have, that was a handler mistake, so I should have waited until he was finished completely. And then I should have given him the food. But notice the tail, it's still up. And now I want it, what I'm working on is not just up, but I want it wagging. So that he's really happy. And the worst thing now in IPO, if a dog looks stressed at all, the judge will disqualify the dog. They're dead against compulsion, they're dead against force, they will disqualify you. Even if you say no in the trial, that's considered a correction. So never say no to your dog. We want the dogs to succeed. So he's getting tired, so the tail's coming down a little bit. This track was probably 300 paces, I think. But tracking conditions are really nice, really easy. There's a lot of cross tracks in here, and here's an article. Good boy. So this article I placed, you can't really see it, but there's a cross track that goes right through here. So right through there. So what I did is I put an article one step after the cross track so that he would take that, stay on my track and ignore the cross track, because each cross track will smell differently because the disturbed ground smells different. Good boy. Okay, Sue? So he's a little bit anxious to start on this. But I don't really want to correct for that because I really want to keep that motivation. Here's his very last article. He was only 10 steps away. And do you see that? So he's laying on it. There it is. So I want it between his paws. Good boy. So this dog will never walk over an article, which is really, really important. Because if your dog walks over articles, and especially at the end, then you have to say plots. So you lose 7 points for the article, and you lose 10 points for saying plots. So, articles are so important. And that's the end of our track.